Hi, I'm Gregg Wallis, Senior Editor with Hotel Business, and we are here today with Laura Lee Blake, the new President and CEO of AAHOA.
Thank you, Gregg. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. Obviously, I should say welcome to AAHOA, or perhaps welcome back to AAHOA. You were with the association years ago, and now you're back. So can you tell me about your thoughts on rejoining AAHOA?
Yes, well, it is, there's one word that describes it, exhilarating to be returning. I loved my prior, it was almost 10 years that I was with AAHOA, and of course at that time there was a lot going on, and we tackled many issues, and with the assistance of the board and the members, we made a lot of progress. And so I believe that the AAHOA is now looking at relaunching some of these very same efforts. And so I am just delighted to have an opportunity to return at this time as AAHOA is looking at possible new platforms, new operations, new opportunities to take the association to a brand new level. And to be invited to come back is exciting.
Exactly. And obviously the last few years have been certainly different for both the industry and AAHOA as an organization. What will you be focusing on internally with AAHOA to, as you're joining, as you're moving forward?
Yes, well, you mentioned the last few years, and of course COVID had quite an impact on the industry at large, as well as on the AAHOA members, and AAHOA is an association, an organization. And like many in the industry, we are now looking at internally from an organizational perspective what that looks like. And of course, we need to rebuild the labor force. We need to, and this is even in the AAHOA headquarters in Atlanta, as well as do we approach issues such as should employees be remote? Should there be a hybrid system? So there's a lot of that, but from more the internal perspective on the next steps for AAHOA, I think there's really been a resurgence in the 12 points of fair franchising, as well as what can we do in DC and at the local and state levels to work closely with our elected officials. So that's a long way to say that there's a lot that we will be tackling, and we're looking forward to taking it from there.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the local and state and federal government. What kind of policies or changes might you be advocating for your owners' membership?
Right. Well, and just in the past year, I'll give you a few examples. So right now, a big issue for us are 1031 exchanges. And what I mean by that is under the IRS code, the 1031, it allows property owners to sell their property and use the proceeds from the property to invest in another property that's similar or like the one that they just sold. Well, the Biden administration is looking at capping that at $500,000, which would effectively destroy that for the commercial real estate market. And the reason that's so important is because our members, I've heard so many stories of what has happened with that. In New Jersey, for example, we have a member that his family originally purchased a 25-room hotel. After several years, they were able to sell that, take the proceeds, and use it to buy a 65-room flagged property. And now further years have passed, and now they have a number of hotels, and they've been able to do this because of this program. So to take that away, it really impacts not only the hotel owners, but also there's job growth anytime that you're building additional properties or developing additional businesses, and just the impact on the local community. So that is one example. From the past year, I'll give you one other quick example. We've been working very closely with the SBA on getting these EIDLs, which are economic injury disaster loans for our members. And what that means is they've been able to get loans during the pandemic, which if we had not connected them with these loans, several have said that they probably would not have made it through this time. As a matter of fact, Isabel Guzman, who is an SBA administrator, came to our AAHOA convention in Baltimore and spoke to the members, and that was a result of the efforts that we had made to work closely with the SBA to obtain these loans for our members.
Great, and obviously AAHOA has a great connection to immigrants and the American dream. So how about advocating for visas to bring to help the labor situation and bring more international workers into the U.S. to help solve that labor crunch?
Yes, and that's a very good point. We have nearly 20,000 members, and now we're looking at second and third generation members, but the original group, I mean, came directly from India, you know, and we're immigrants in that situation. And so that has always been a big focus for us, to serve to serve those needs and look at those opportunities. And so with respect to the visas, now with the great labor shortage, I believe I heard the term just recently, it's called the Great Resignation.
Exactly.
That during the pandemic, so many employees left their positions, and now, for whatever reason, they've either found other opportunities and they're not returning to the job market. And so there's a great labor shortage, and this is impacting our hotels. And so some of the things that we have been pushing for are expanded visa opportunities. There's something called the H-2B visa, and each year, there's 66,000 that they give out, 33,000 for the first part, 33,000 for the second, and now there has been approval just recently for an increased number of those visas.
Absolutely.
But the news that came out recently is even with that increased amount, again, those are almost full. And on that point, AAHOA is working with a group of diverse coalitions to develop a new visa program, the H-2C, which would be focused on hospitality workers for the industry. So we're excited to see what opportunities might be there, what possibilities we might be able to pull together by working together and addressing, obviously, the labor shortage and what that means for our industry.
Well, Laura Lee, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
And I look forward to seeing you in the industry events going forward.
Thank you.